5 years ago, I was sitting in my car in a parking lot at 2 in the morning, crying. I had just checked my bank account. Negative $47. I had 7 credit cards maxed out. $50,000 in debt. I was working 3 jobs and still couldn't make the minimum payments. My marriage was falling apart. I was having panic attacks. And I remember looking up and asking God, how did I get here? And more importantly, how do I get out? That morning, God answered me through one Bible verse. And in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to tell you my story. Because if God can do it for me, He can do it for you. Let me take you back to how it started. I wasn't irresponsible. I wasn't stupid. I just made small decisions that added up. A car repair on a credit card. A medical bill I couldn't pay. Christmas gifts for the kids. A job loss that lasted 3 months. Each time I told myself I'll pay it off next month. But next month never came. And the interest kept piling up. Before I knew it, I was using one credit card to pay another. I was taking cash advances just to buy groceries. I was avoiding phone calls from creditors. And every night I couldn't sleep. The weight of that debt was crushing me. It wasn't just financial. It was emotional. It was spiritual. I felt like a failure. I felt like God had abandoned me. I prayed for a miracle, but nothing changed. Then one morning I was reading Proverbs. And I came across Proverbs 22 verse 7. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. And something broke inside me. I realized I wasn't free. I was a slave. Every dollar I earned belonged to Visa, MasterCard, and Discover. I was working for them, not for my family. And I heard God whisper, you don't have to live like this. This is bondage. And I want you free. That verse wrecked me. I sat there and cried for 20 minutes. Because I realized I had been accepting slavery as normal. I had normalized being broke, stressed, and trapped. But God was saying, this isn't my plan for you. And in that moment, I made a decision. I refuse to be a slave anymore. I'm getting free. Whatever it takes. So here's what I did. First, I confessed to my wife. I told her everything. The full amount. The severity. And instead of being angry, she said, we're going to do this together. That was the first miracle. Second, I cut up every credit card. All 7. With scissors. It hurt. But I knew I couldn't get out of a hole while still digging. Third, I wrote down every debt. Smallest to largest. Facing it was painful but necessary. Fourth, I started working the debt snowball. I paid minimum on everything except the smallest debt. And I threw every extra dollar at that one. Worked overtime. Sold stuff I didn't need. Stopped eating out. Every dollar went to debt. The first card I paid off was $1,200. And when I made that final payment, I cried again. Because I felt hope for the first time in years. Then I took that payment and attacked the next card. $2,200. 3 months later, gone. The momentum was real. Every time I paid off a card, I got stronger. More motivated. More determined. I was working 60-hour weeks. My wife was working part-time. We sacrificed everything. No vacations. No new clothes. No eating out. Just attacked the debt. 18 months later, I made the final payment. $50,000. Gone. And when I hit submit on that last payment, I literally fell to my knees and thanked God. Because I was free. Here's what happened after. My marriage got stronger. My stress disappeared. I could sleep again. But the biggest change? My entire mindset shifted. I wasn't a victim anymore. I was a steward. I started saving. Started investing. Started building wealth instead of building debt. And within 2 years of being debt-free, I had more in savings than I ever had in debt. That's the power of freedom. If you're in debt right now, listen to me. You can do this. It won't be easy. It won't be fast. But it's possible. Here's what you do. 1. Face the total. Write it down. 2. Cut up the cards. Stop digging. 3. Work the debt snowball. Smallest to largest. 4. Sacrifice temporarily. No eating out, no unnecessary spending. 5. Trust God. Pray. Declare freedom. Believe it's possible. Proverbs 22 verse 7 set me free. Let it set you free too. You're not a slave. You're a child of God. And children of God don't stay in bondage. If this story encouraged you, write this. I refuse to be a slave to debt. I'm getting free. Share this with someone in debt. Subscribe for more biblical wealth truth. You can do this. I believe in you. God bless. Imagine waking up in prison. Forgotten. Falsely accused. Abandoned by everyone. And by sunset that same day, you're the second most powerful person in the nation. Impossible? That's exactly what happened to Joseph. Genesis 41. One day, prison at sunrise, palace by sunset. But here's what most people miss. That one day was built on 13 years of preparation. Joseph didn't get lucky. He got ready. And today I'm going to show you the 5 principles he used that can take you from your lowest point to your greatest breakthrough. Let's start at the beginning. Joseph was his father's favorite son. He had a coat of many colors. He had dreams from God. He had a future. Then his brothers betrayed him, threw him in a pit, sold him to slave traders. He ended up in Egypt as a slave. But Joseph didn't become bitter. He worked hard. He served excellently. He rose to manage Potiphar's entire household. Then Potiphar's wife tried to seduce him. He refused. She falsely accused him. And he ended up in prison. Innocent, forgotten, alone. Most people would give up at this point, but not Joseph. Genesis 39 verse 21 says, "The Lord was with Joseph and showed him kindness." He granted him favor in the eyes of the prison warden. Even in prison, Joseph excelled. He became the manager of the prison. He served. He helped others. He interpreted dreams for 2 fellow prisoners. One of them was Pharaoh's cupbearer. Joseph asked him to remember him when he got out. But the cupbearer forgot. Genesis 40 verse 23 says, "The chief cupbearer did not remember Joseph. He forgot him." 2 more years passed. 13 years total. Betrayed, enslaved, imprisoned, forgotten. Then one day everything changed. Pharaoh had a dream. No one could interpret it. And suddenly the cupbearer remembered Joseph. Genesis 41 verse 14 says, "So Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and he was quickly brought from the dungeon." Within hours, Joseph was standing before Pharaoh. He interpreted the dream. 7 years of abundance followed by 7 years of famine. And he didn't just interpret it. He gave Pharaoh a plan. Store grain during abundance. Prepare for famine. Save the nation. And Pharaoh was so impressed that he said, "Can we find anyone like this man, one in whom is the Spirit of God?" Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Since God has made all this known to you, there is no one so discerning and wise as you. You shall be in charge of my palace, and all my people are to submit to your orders. Only with respect to the throne will I be greater than you." One day, prison to palace, forgotten to famous, slave to second in command. So what did Joseph do that we can apply? 5 principles. Principle 1. He stayed faithful in the small things. Even in prison he served excellently. Luke 16 verse 10, "Whoever is faithful with little will be faithful with much." God was testing Joseph's character in prison. And Joseph passed. Principle 2. He developed his gift. Joseph's gift was interpreting dreams. And even in prison he practiced. He helped the cupbearer and baker. He didn't let his gift die just because his circumstances were bad. He stayed sharp. Principle 3. He helped others even when no one helped him. Joseph was alone, but he still served the cupbearer. Galatians 6 verse 9, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Joseph kept sowing, even when no one appreciated it. Principle 4. He was ready when opportunity came. When Pharaoh called, Joseph didn't say, "I'm not ready, give me a few years." He was ready. He had stayed sharp in prison. Proverbs 22 verse 29, "Do you see someone skilled in their work? They will serve before kings." Joseph was skilled. So when the king called, he was ready. Principle 5. He didn't just solve the problem, he provided a plan. Joseph didn't just interpret the dream. He gave Pharaoh a strategy to save the nation. That's value. That's wisdom. And that's why he got promoted. Proverbs 18 verse 16, "A gift opens the way for the giver and ushers them into the presence of the great." So what does this mean for you? Maybe you're in your prison season right now. Forgotten. Stuck. Waiting. But listen, your one day is coming. But while you wait, are you doing what Joseph did? Are you staying faithful in small things? Are you developing your gifts? Are you serving others? Are you staying ready? Because when your Pharaoh calls, you need to be ready. Don't waste your prison season. Use it. Grow in it. Prepare in it. Your breakthrough isn't about luck. It's about readiness meeting opportunity. Write this: "My prison season is preparing me for my palace season." I will stay faithful. Share this with someone in a waiting season. Subscribe for more biblical wealth wisdom. Your one day is coming. Stay ready. God bless.